Well, as you guys can see right there, we are 6x frame gen in Death Stranding 2 using the RTX 5080. You can see all the specs on the screen right now. So it's a 5080 paired up with a 9000X VD and 64 GB of DDR5 memory running at 6000 MHz and the latest NVIDIA drivers. And this is not usable via the NVIDIA app. You gotta go and download some additional DLL files, which I've explained in the previous video on Crimson Desert on the same GPU, how to get 6x framed in on that game, without it being officially supported. So it's the same thing. Just copy and paste a bunch of DLL files and you will be seeing this option, this toggle option in Death Stranding 2 as well. So that's how I got it to work in this game as well. It's not, if you try to go and enable it, override it to the NVIDIA app, it's not going to work. Okay. And we are maxing everything out on DLAA 4K settings right here. And let's jump into it. Let's start counting the FPS. Surprisingly, man, DLAA native settings, we are getting 164 FPS in Death Stranding 2. Right now it looks pretty good, right? You don't see any artifacting or anything, but as soon as you just start moving, you can see all the ghosting and artifacting, especially in the menus, the UI, the text that you just saw. It's not so apparent on the left side, the small menu on the left corner, but you can see the crosshair type thing over there, the objective marker. That is really buggy. So all the UI elements are buggy on 6x frame gen. Its main thing is because we are, natively maxing it out. And also this is not natively supported by the game. So that's another thing, And this is one of the most intensive areas in the game as well. The forest. But seeing 180 FPS on these settings, man, this is absolutely wild. This is using 6x frame gen, native settings. If it was without those artifacting issues, I could see myself playing this game like this totally fine. But the 90 FPS is really bad for keyboard and mouse. On controller is pretty good. I mean, even on keyboard and mouse, it's not that bad though. It is quite responsive, But on controller, it's totally playable. Yeah, I'd say if you want to play it on these settings, I'm gonna go to DLSS performance actually. This takes us to 300 FPS on 4K maxed out. And looks absolutely crystal clear thanks to DLSS 4.5. But now the UI elements are pretty stable compared to what we just saw before. Because we have a lot more VRAM to breathe. Not that we were maxing it out on the other native resolution. Now it's way more stable, And look at the latency, 50 milliseconds is even better. Turning the light off, we don't need the light anymore. With 6x frame gen, guys, you can get 300 FPS. And again, this is not, I don't see any way to enable dynamic frame gen without NVIDIA app natively supporting it or giving us the option to override. But just using the 6x frame gen is possible. So we were able to get around 194, 200 FPS with 4x frame gen before this. And now it takes it all the way to 300. It's again really crazy when you think about it, So this was a limit until the latest update. But now we got this. Kind of lost here. I don't know where to go. But that's besides the points. I will go there eventually, and I'm just running around to see if I can find any artifacting or ghosting. This again not seen here because we are, in 4x frame gen. Not a big impact at all. So yeah, this is really great from what I've seen. I'm just gonna keep it back to 6x and then actually try going to native settings without ray tracing. See if that reduces the artifacting. I think it does, because right now the UI elements staying way more stable than it was with ray tracing turned on. You can see that. Okay, so if you just disable ray tracing and just keep it to very high settings, then you can actually get 260. This is maxing out my screen refresh rate. It's 240 Hz. And I will get it 260 native on a 5080. That is impressive. But yeah, the little UI elements flickering is still there. You can see that. But, it's still in beta mode, and we are forcefully using a bunch of DLL files from NVIDIA's site to make this work. So there will be imperfections, but this is way better than I expected. Wow. Oh man, this is great. I don't think I need to show you guys anything better. Now this is supposed to be a in-depth Death Stranding 2 benchmark on the 5080. That's what I was initially planning. Then I came across this mod, so I recorded this and the Crimson Desert video, which is already uploaded on the same day because I was excited to test it out. And this is better than I expected, guys. So I don't see any artifacting. But again, you need a really good GPU with at least 12 gigabytes of VRAM to make this thing work. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to be on a 5060. So stay tuned for that as well, as I'll be testing that out on a few games with 6x frame gen. But so far, this is amazing, you know? 250 FPS, native, on 4K. So that's all I got to show you on 4K. Now I'm going to jump into 1440p and 1080p. 1440p, same things. I didn't change anything except the resolution. So I'm just going to try going ray tracing because it's 1440p. We should be able to max it out, you know? It's a 5080, come on. There it is. Pretty much the same kind of results, and this time much more stable because we're not using 4K. Looking really stable. Even the UI elements, there's a little bit of artifacting when you like do it really fast. Then you can see the imperfections here and there, but you're not going to do that very often anyways. Using about almost 13 gigabytes of VRAM. Man, this is impressive. So let me just go to another location. I'm going to the Sandstorm. So I did a quick shader compilation, which just boosted up my CPU temperature to the max. It's coming down now. It's 337. So this area is less intensive compared to the jungle. Because in the jungle with all the water effects and all of that, I think with the ray tracing reflection set to the max, it's a little bit more intensive compared to this area. But this is still really impressive. Getting 321 FPS, upscale from 55. Still really playable with 44 milliseconds latency. You know? Wow. So yeah, guys, there's literally no point in turning down graphic settings at all on a 5080. Especially with 6x frame gen. So quickly showing you guys how it's going to be with without frame gen. Okay. Without frame gen, you can still get 80 FPS. So it's not like it's an unplayable experience or anything without frame gen. 76 FPS is still totally playable. You know. So that's the reason why we're getting a stable, steady gameplay experience even with 6x frame gen, because we are getting solid base frames. Not 78 when you enable 6x, but still really smooth enough to get you to that playable state. From 78 to 300, it's a really massive jump. And with minimal latency, I don't see any point not using it at all. So that's how it is going to be on 1440p, man. I don't see any option, any reason to go below this. Even 4K, you can just max it out pretty much. So let's see, man. Just the 1080p settings for the final. It'll take you like only 110 FPS on 1080p maxed out settings without any frame gen. Base speeds, I mean not base speeds, like base FPS, 180 FPS. So let me see how it's gonna be if we just max out frame gen. Still everything maxed out, ray tracing and everything, you know, and native. Takes you to 385. So from 320, we're getting 385 from 1440p to 1080p. Upscale from 60 FPS. So we were getting base 110 FPS almost without frame gen, but with frame gen, you are starting from 60 FPS base. So you are losing 40 FPS. So you guys got to keep that in mind. You know, it's not actually upscale from freaking 110 FPS and then getting 6x on top of it. It's actually reducing it to 60 and then applying 6x frame gen. That's how it works. It has to compensate something. So, but still, 369 FPS is absolutely wild on a really intensive area like this. It makes me wonder how it's going to be on the jungle. In the jungle, it's still pretty much the same, 317. But yeah, you're losing about 20 FPS compared to the other area. Because the jungle is really intensive, guys. See, it's even going down below 300, 295. So, yeah, compared to the Sandstorm, this is way more intensive, confirmed. But still, on 1080p, this is amazing. 43 milliseconds super responsive, no complaints whatsoever, and I don't see any. I mean, yeah, the UI elements flickering is still there, but even like this, if I want a keyboard or mouse, I would do this quick little spin. Still not terrible. So this is totally playable on all aspects, even without official support, you know. So, and again, I knew this was going to be a short little video because my initial impressions on 4K when the game released on the day one, it was running really well on 4K maxed out settings with a little bit of upscaling. So I didn't see any reason to go down below 4K, but you know, just for the benchmark, I had to. But yeah, this is really playable and getting 300 FPS with maxed out settings and 6x frame gen. So there you have it. That's Death Stranding 2 with 6x frame gen, everything maxed out on all the settings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more benchmarks on different GPUs, and 6x frame gen test, which is coming soon. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So take it easy and peace out.